This is a shout out to Zach, Ashley, Justin, and Bull.
This is Don D-Man Hill, and I'm sorry, but this isn't Holy and You, but it is presented and sponsored by Holy and You, and I am the host of Holy and You, but this is Study Time with Don. Who wrote the Bible? Who wrote the Old Testament? Moses wrote some of the 5 books of the Old Testament, if not all 5. They were called the Laws, or the Laws of Moses, because he was the one who received it from God to write down and pass on to the Jewish people. In many verses of the New Testament, it refers to the laws of Moses when the teaching that is not effect anymore. Several other inspired men called prophets wrote the rest of the Old Testament. For example, Solomon wrote most of the book of Proverbs and the Song of Solomon. King David wrote most of the book of Psalms, which were songs about his joys, sorrows, and need. He spoke of Christ in them. Several other prophets spoke words from God that were written down. Men such as Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. King David was also called a prophet. Others contribute to the writing. The Jews were collectors of these writings. All of them been copied and translated over years and delivered to us today. Who wrote the New Testament? Well, Paul, a tent maker, wrote over 14 books. John, a fisherman, wrote 5 books. Luke, a physician, wrote 2 books. Peter, a fisherman, wrote 2 books. Matthew from Leviticus, a tax collector, wrote a book. Mark wrote a book. James, a carpenter, wrote a book. And Jude, a carpenter, also wrote a book. Why are some of the books in the Bible taken out? Some of the books in the Bible were not included between the Old Testament and the New Testament, called the books of the Yahar. Such books as Judith, which was a woman that was said to been called upon God to kill a man. It contradicted the Old Testament, so was not placed in the New Testament, and therefore taken out. Other books in this nature were taken out because they were said not to be written by God or the Holy Spirit in any other translation. This is Don D-Man Hill, and I'm doing a spot right now to tell you that Holy and You will be uploaded at least once every other month. I will make it my duty to spread the gospel between all of you two. Also support our Facebook page, Holy and You on Facebook. For anything Holy and You, info and events, holyandYou.weebly.com, WEEBLY.com.
And this concludes our study. God bless.